Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Success Point to Compete. The topic for today's discussion is Constituent Assembly. So first we look at the meaning of the Constituent Assembly. A Constituent Assembly is a body of representatives that is elected to create or change or anyone's country's constitution. Okay, so let us see the background of Indian Constituent Assembly. In the year 1934, M.N. Roy first proposed the idea of a constituent assembly. The demand was taken up by the Congress Party in the year 1935 as an official demand for the first time. And the British accepted this in the August offer of 1940. Under the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946, elections were held for the formation of the Constituent Assembly of India. The members of this assembly were elected indirectly by the method of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote system. The Constituent Assembly was formed for the purpose of writing a constitution for the independent India. Now, let us see the composition of the Constituent Assembly of India. Initially, the number of members were 389, but after the partition, some of the members went to Pakistan and the number came down to 299. Out of these, 229 were from the British provinces and 70 were nominated from the princely states. Dr. Sachidanand Sinha was the first temporary chairman of the Constituent Assembly. Later, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president and its vice president was Harendra Kumar Mukherjee. B.N. Rao was the constitutional advisor. Now let us see the committees of the Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly appointed a number of committees to deal with different tasks of making the Constitution of India. There were 8 major committees and many others minor committees. Let us see the major committees of our Constituent Assembly. The very first one is Union Powers Committee by Jawaharlal Nehru. Union Constitution Committee. It was looked by also Jawaharlal Nehru. Then third one is Provincial Constitution Committee. It was looked by the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Then fourth one is Drafting Committee, Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar. Then fifth one is Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights of Minorities and Tribal and Excluded Areas. It was looked after by Sardar Patel. Sixth one is States Committee by Jawaharlal Nehru. Seventh one is Steering Committee by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And the last one is Rules of Procedure Committee. It was looked after by the Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Let us see some of the criticism of the Constituent Assembly of India. So, the very first criticism is not a representative body. Many members criticized that the members of the Constituent Assembly were not directly elected by the people. Second one is not a sovereign body. It was created by the proposals of the British government. It was criticized by some people. Then the third one is time consuming. American Constitution took only 4 months, but our Constitution, it took about 3 years. So it is time consuming. Then dominated by Congress. It was criticized by some of people that it was one party body and dominated by the Congress Party. And second last is lawyers and politicians domination. At that time, most of the people who educated were lawyers, and it was this body was full by the politicians. So sections of the society were not sufficiently represented. It is criticized that there is domination of politicians and lawyers. And the last criticism is dominated by Hindus. Lord Viscount Simon called it a body of Hindus. Okay, it was criticized that the assembly is dominated by Hindus only. But this is not the case because it was very representative. There were various members from other sections of the society also, like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was also from Dalit community, but yeah, he was from Hindu. But many Muslim, Sikhs, Jains were also represented in this constituent assembly. Okay, friends. Now let us see some of the facts related to Constituent Assembly of India. So, in all, the Constituent Assembly of India had 11 sessions over 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days. So, it took about total of 3 years. Okay. Next one is constitution makers had gone through the constitutions of about 66 countries. After that, they made our Constitution of India. Okay, so can you imagine, friends, what time it took to make the Constitution? Okay, the expenditure incurred on making Constitution amounted to rupees 64 lakhs. And the last one is on 24th January 1950, the Constitution Assembly held its final session. Okay, friends. So this was in English language. If you want these videos in Hindi language, please let me know in the comment section. I use English language because my English is very simple, and you would also learn some English with these lessons. So I use this. Thank you so much, friends. Wait for the next lecture.